Namaskaram, everybody, and Namaskar, Pravina Bhagini. And this is such an amazing satsanga. Again, we have all gathered here to understand, experience, to know a more little about the very little, very convicted, a very strong, self willed, self enforced, and of course, an incarnated, beautiful girl, the young little Goda, about whom we heard in our last satsanga how she was found in the Tulasi Vana by the very staunch Vishnu Chitta, who is a very sincere, devoted Sadbhakta of Sriman Narayana, and for whom there is nothing other than Narayana Smriti, Vishnu Chintana in his life, and the only dedication to his life was to make colorful garlands of various flowers and tulasi and offer to Bhagavan every morning, collecting them early in the morning in the very exclusive garden dedicated to the Lord alone, where nobody could enter, no general common crowd was allowed to access. And one sudden day, he hears a cry of a baby. And amidst this, his very private Tulasi garden, he finds, he discovers this beautiful little girl, a baby, and he just embraces the baby, and his happiness has no limit, his madness has no limit, and his discovery gives him a strong belief that it is Bhagavan's gift for his bhakti. He named this girl the same what he offers every day is the flower garland, which is called as Kodai, or the stringed flowers. And this girl is again dedicated to God with the same name as Kodai. Goda, in her fifth age, by the age of her 5, she had great will of propagating Krishna Bhakti, Narayana Bhakti, and converting everybody, including herself, into the Gopikas as she has understood from Srimad Bhagavatam. What is to be done to achieve, to attain, to win over this very, very, very naughty Krishna, who is being always a unwinnable master, hero, yet the notorious lad of Yashoda, but the most obedient Kumara of Nanda Baba. But O the world, know that He alone is the one who is the master for all of us. He is the only one who can give us mokshananda. He is the one who can embrace us into the ultimate bliss and give us the kaivalya and take us all back to our world, which is Vaikuntha. He sent us here to experience Him in all those many ways, and He along with all of us here in every possible way to make realize us that we belong to Him. Andal says, Narayanane Namakke Parai Taruvan. Narayana alone to us only will be giving, moksha. For that, what are we supposed to do? Is what we are going to understand. And that is what are these 30 days. According to Srimad Bhagavata, we get these details of who were the role models for Andal, for that she can win over Krishna. Our Srimad Bhagavata says, Hemante Pratame Mase Nanda Brajakumarikaha. This Hemanta Ritu is considered to be the first month of the calendar of our Sanatana, and this is the month in various ways considered to be the dawn, and we are supposed to dedicate these 30 days very sincerely, austerely, very, very humbly to achieve the goal again that we get from Srimad Bhagavatam. Gopika's prayer to Katyayani was, Katyayani Mahamaye Mahayogini Adhishwari Nandagopasutam Devi Dehi me Pati me kurute namaha. O Katyayani, we are here to exercise, practice our vow, the Vrata Anushtana, so that you can pave us the way that all of us who are dedicating our lives to Krishna make him our husband. And we all have this singular prayer to you, and you make this happen. Andal Kodai. Pravina ji.
Jai Shri Krishna. That was a beautiful summary of what we are planning to do here. Thank you so much, Vasudevji. So, in the first three slokas that we have seen, we call it Pasuram in Tamil. Those are the songs from Tirupavai. So, the first three songs, Andal, without mincing words, in the very first Pasuram, says that Narayana Namakke Parai Taruvan. Narayana will give us the ultimate gift, the ultimate parai. And his daya is sufficient for all what we need. And what are we supposed to do for it? It was covered in the second sloka, which is Seyyum kirisaigal keliro. These are the do's of the vrata. What are the do's? Mano, vak, kayam. So by our words, deeds, and thoughts, we are supposed to think of Bhagavan, do whatever is supposed to be done, like singing his praise, offering flowers to him, doing the right actions. Whatever Bhagavan likes has to be performed by us. What are we supposed to avoid? The kuralai sendrodom. Again, the same three things. Manova kayam, right? So the avoidables are we should not commit anything which is a apacharam to Bhagavan or to his devotees. We should not, stop doing our duties. Neyyunnom, palunnom. We will not get involved in the regular pleasures, the bodily pleasures, like, eating the best of the food or decorating ourselves, just for the sake of looking good. No, we will avoid all that. And what is the other thing we're supposed to do? Surrender at the feet of Bhagavan. What will happen if we do all this? So that is going to be the subsequent topic which we will discuss now. So we have completed the first three pasurams. We will now go on to the fourth pasuram. Vasuna, would you like to sing the fourth pasuram first?
Yes, ma'am. ஆழிமழை கண்ணா ஆழிமழை கண்ணா ஒன்று நீ கை கரவேல் ஆழியுள் புக்கு முகர்ந்து கொட தேரி ஆழியுள் புக்கு முகர்ந்து கொட தேரி ஊழி முதல் உருவம் பால் மெய் கருத்து ஊழி முதல்வல் உருவம் பால் மெய் கருத்து பாழியல் தோளுடை பத்மநாபன் கையில் பத்மநாபன் கையில் ஆழி போல் மில்னி வலம்புரி போல் நின்று அதிர்ந்து தாழாதே ஷார்கம் உதைத்த சரமழை போல் தாழாதே சார்கம் உதைத்த சரமழை போல் வாழ உலகினில் பெய்திட நாங்களும் மார்கழி நீராட மகிழ்ந்தேலோ எம்பவ மார்கழி நீராட மகிழ்ந்தேலோர் எம்பாவாய்.
Jai Shri Krishna. Thank you so much. This is the fourth Pasuram. I have the text in English and Tamil in my profile. So, as I'm explaining this, those of you who want to refer to the text can look at my profile. Here, Andal starts to explain very, very beautifully that we need rain. She has promised the elders that if we do this vratha, then rain will pour. We will have abundance of everything. So she is actually ordering the rain god to fulfill whatever they have committed. So the Pasuram goes this way. Ari Malai Kanna. Ari Malai basically is Ari is ocean, Malai is rain. So majestic and vast like the ocean. She says this rain should actually come. Undrini Kaikaravel. Do not withhold, any part of the rain. We want complete rain. Ariyul Pukku Muhundu Kodu Aatteri. So here she beautifully explains about, a lot of the concepts pertaining to the rain cycle, which is amazing because we think recently we came to know about, this entire cycle of how rain is produced. Andal very, very beautifully explains that. We will go into that. So she says, Ari Malai, which is, of course, addressing, the rain, Varuna. But then she calls it as Kanna. Why would Ari Malai be Kanna? Isn't the lord of the rain Varuna? Why should it be Kanna? Right? This is the beauty of our Andal, our Kodai. For her, everything she sees, listens, talks is all Krishna, 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 Krishna. Nothing outside of Krishna. Bhagavan in Bhagavad Gita says, Vasudeva Sarvamithi Samahatma Sudurlabaha. The one who sees everything as Vasudeva is very, very rare. And Bhagavan, waits for somebody who is like that. And here is our Kodai. She wants rain. She looks at the clouds. She looks at the ocean. She's calling out for the deity who's supposed to give rain, and then she calls it out as Kanna, my Krishna. Kanna is like Krishna. So she's addressing Bhagavan as Arimalai Kanna. So that is a very, very beautiful thing because even when we speak of Swami Nammalvar, who is a very, very important Alvar, we say that to him, Unnum Sor, the food that he eats, Parugum Neer, the water he drinks, Tinnum Vetrile, even the tambol that he has as a dessert is all Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. And Vasudevji mentioned about Srimad Bhagavata, right? A lot of the inspiration that we see in Tirupavai are from Bhagavatam, it looks like. And what did the Gopikas, do in Srimad Bhagavata? They wanted to go and sell, the dadi, takra, butter, everything. And they had to, sell it on the street. So they had to scream saying, dadi, takra, butter, who wants to buy, so on and so forth, and then walk down the street. But then they were so engrossed thinking about Bhagavan all the time, they ended up calling out his names rather than calling out the names of the products that they wanted to sell. Vikretu kama kilagopakanya murari padhar pitachitta vritti dadyadikam moha vasatavaucha Govinda Damo Daramadaveti. So they wanted to sell Thadi, Takra, Ityadi. But then their chitta was so filled with Murari. What did they do? They called out as Govinda Damo Daramadaveti. Govinda, Damodara, Madhava. Do you want to buy Madhava? Do you want to buy Keshava? So that was the kind of mind they had, always thinking about Bhagavan, Bhagavan, Bhagavan. Now, our Goda Andal here always thinks about Bhagavan. So she wants to instruct the rains to come. And then she says, Arimare Kanna, Ho Krishna, you are, the Arimare. Now please pour the waters to us. Ariyul Pukka Muhunda Kuda Ateri. So all these are beautiful explanations of how the rain has to come. She wants the rain to have a huge sound. The clouds should become dark in color, and it should fall, not just in small showers here and there. The rain should shower as if it is the Rama's arrows which pour, from the Saranga. When Rama actually uses a arrow, it is never one arrow which falls. It's a series of arrows, which is like a shower of arrows. So she says, your rain should be like that. And then she says, but don't, do over. I mean, let's not have too much of rain, because we all have to live. So, vara unaginil pedira, you have to pour in such a way that we all are able to live. And then we want to enjoy Magand. So you have to pour your rains with happiness. We have to receive it with happiness and then celebrate this Vrata Margari Nirada. So we want to all be together, celebrate this Vrata on Bhagavan Krishna. So please do whatever is appropriate. So that is basically a overview idea of what this is. But then this has so much beyond what we can think of at this point. So what actually happens is Andal in this process explains the entire rain cycle. She says, now the rains have to take water from the ocean, and then it has to become clouds. The dark clouds will then shower the rains back to us. So she says the entire water, should be sucked from the sea, from everywhere, not even leaving a drop. And she says, then the rains have to go and pour to everybody, good and bad alike. No partiality there. The rain should be showered to everybody. And the way it should shower is, as we said, like the Rama's Saranga arrows, which flow from a Saranga. It should shower like so much to everybody. And then it should bring happiness, it should bring livelihood, it should bring prosperity to the entire land. So that is basically the overview idea of the sloka. There are lots and lots of hidden meanings inside this. So let's just have a little bit of glance into what our acharyas have explained about this particular pasuram. Now, she says here, Adiyul pukku muhundu kodu aateri. She says that it should come with a huge sound, right? A thunderous sound should be produced. And ஊழி முதல்வன் உருவம் போல் மெய் கருத்து. So the cloud should look really dark, as if it's like Bhagavan's body. பாழியன் தோளுடைய பத்மநாபன் கையில் ஆழி போல் மின்னி வலம்புரி போல் நின்றது. So like Padmanabha, we know our Bhagavan, who has his Nabi Kamala, the navel, from there arises the Padma, the lotus. And from that lotus, the Chaturmukha Brahma creates the secondary creation. So she's addressing that Bhagavan, and like an invocation to all his weapons, she says, Aripol minni valampuripol nindradirnd. So she worships the Shanka, Chakra, of Bhagavan, along with the Dhanush, she said. She's also offered her, acknowledgements to the Padma. Aripol, Minni Valam, Puripol, Nindradildu. The Shanka and Chakra are so beautifully explained in this. These are Bhagavan's Lakshanas itself. With all this, what is the rasanubhava of this? What is the essence of this? Is very, very beautifully explained. Now, the rain is compared to our, acharya, the spiritual teachers. Now, what Andal says here is that acharyas bring in the jnana to us. They give us this knowledge, wisdom, right? So, these spiritual teachers give all what is required for the sishyas. So here she says that, give it completely. She was asking the rains to give the rains completely, right? So here our interpreters have said that acharyas should not hold any secret from a dedicated shishya. They should give everything that is required for the Sishya, give them all what is there with them without holding anything back. And how should the Acharyas get their knowledge? Just like how the rain does, right? The rain takes all the waters from the ocean, and the Acharyas immerse themselves in this beautiful ocean of Bhagavad Bhakti. Like the Krishna Bhakti is taken as the beautiful ocean of knowledge from where they gain all what they have to gain. And then she compares it to this beautiful black cloud, which is like, because all the acharyas are involved in the devotion of bhakti, bhakti, bhakti of Krishna, Bhagavan's swabhava also comes to them. They also become dark or filled with karuna, like Bhagavan, that they are ready to now shower their karuna. And the three secrets, we speak about the Rahasya Traya. So those are given. And she compares these Veda mantras, the Pranava Shabdas, to the Panchachanya Nada. So, Aripol Minni Valampuri Pol Nindradirnda, she says, right? So, the Panchajanya, the sound of the Panchajanya is supposed to be the Pranavanada, the sound from which the entire cosmic creation happened. He says that is the Upadesha of your Acharyas. The Acharyas will give you all what is required from this sound, from this Pranavanada. All the mantras will be given to you, which will drive away all the unwanted things. So the Sudarshana and Panchachanya are supposed to help us with all the radiance, the jnana, and all this knowledge from the Panchajanya. The arrows which are showering are the thoughts, the wisdoms which will be showered, unlimited amount of wisdom which will be showered on us by our acharyas. And this will help all of us attain Bhagavad Sanidhyam. So here, Padmanabha is supposed to be the primordial creation, because when Bhagavan's Nabi has this lotus in which Chaturmukha Brahma is there, and he creates the secondary universe, all of us know the Bija or the primary creator is Bhagavan. So the primary creator is mentioned here as the Padmanabha, who is the creator of Brahma itself. So that is the beauty that is brought about in this sloka. So she basically says that, we have to live. So, vada ulaginil peididai. So, the acharyas have to give us all what we need to, live prosperously here and also in the ultimate abode of Bhagavan. So, this beautiful Pasuram has a lot of depth of meanings in it. I just told one of the overview meaning here, and it has also got beauty of poetry. If we look at this particular Pasuram of Andal, we will be surprised at the poetic beauty which Andal adds here. So we are in the fourth Pasuram. You can have a look at it in my profile. The beauty of every language is very different. And this composition is in Tamil. And in Tamil, there is a beautiful alphabet which is Ra. Ra, which is very unique to a very, very few languages. I think Malayalam has Ra, but not many other languages. So Ra is supposed to add beauty to Tamil. In this particular Pasuram, the fourth song, if we notice, Andal has used the alphabet Ra 11 times, which is amazing brilliance of, the poetic beauty here. So let me just count the numbers for you here by reading out the appropriate words. You can look at it in my profile. Ari, first one. Marai, second one. Kanna ஒன்று நீ கை கரவேல் ஆழி, third one, which is ஆழியுள் புக்கு முகுந்து கொடாத்தேரி ஊழி, fourth one. முதல்வன் உருவம் போல் மெய் கருத்து பாழியன், fifth one. தோளுடைய பத்மநாபன் கையில் ஆழி போல், sixth one. மின்னி வலம் புரி போல் நின்றிருந்து தாழாதே, sixth one. சார்ங்க முதைத்த சரமழை, seventh one. போல் வாழ, eighth. உலகினில் பெய்திடாய் நாங்களும் மார்கழி, ninth one. நீராட மகிழ்ந்தேலோர் எம்பாவாய். So ஆழி, மழை, ஆழியன், ஊழி, பாழி, ஆழி, தாழ, சரமழை, வாழ, மார்கழி, again மகிழ்ந்து. So those are the 11 times the beautiful Ra is used in one single song of hers. This shows the poetic beauty, the literary beauty, the overall meaning, the depth of meaning, everything which can be communicated in one little song by our 5-year-old little kid, Andal Kodai. So that is the kind of information that we have here. Jai Shri Krishna. Vasuji, would you like to sing the next one?
Jai Shri Krishna. That was a brilliant way to even think of a poetry from its lyrical form. So, how form matters to all of us is applicable even to not just the form of an idol that we worship, but the form in a poetry that we can feel, sense, and allow us to experience the transformation. The next Pasuram, as you can follow in the profile or the link given above. மாயனே மண்ணு வடமதுரை மைந்தனை மாயனை மண்ணு வடமதுரை மைந்தனை தூய பெரு நீர் யமுனை துறைவனை ஆயர் குலத்தினில் தோன்றும் அணி விளக்கை ஆயர் குலத்தினில் தோன்றும் அணி விளக்கை தாயை குடல் விளக்கம் செய்த தாமோதரா தாயை குடல் விளக்கம் செய்த தாமோதரனே தூயோமாய் வந்து நாம் தூயோமாய் வந்து நாம் தூமலர் தூவி தொழுது தூமலர் தூவி தொழுது வாயினால் பாடி வாயினால் பாடி மனதினால் சிந்திக்க மனத்தினால் சிந்திக்க போய பிழையும் புகுதருவான் நின்றனவும் போய பிழையும் புகுதருவான் நின்றனவும் தீயினில் தூசாகும் தீயினில் தூஷாகும் செப்பேலோர் எம்பாவாய் செப்பேலோர் எம்பாவாய் மாயனே மன்னே மாயனே மன்னே. ஜெய் ஸ்ரீ
Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Such a beautiful pasuram. The meaning of this will take us to a very, very different, elated feel. Here, Andal says, Mayanai. The very first word starts with something for us to think, introspect, contemplate, meditate, and spend the rest of our life with, So, such a beautiful word, Mayan. And Bhagavan in Bhagavad Gita has also used this, Sambhavami Atma Mayaya. So, this Maya is such a word which can be interpreted in multiple dimensions. So, one interpretation which we can look at this point of time is the one who does mysterious things, the one who does things which is beyond what we can even understand, the one who does certain things which we are not able to comprehend as to why this was done, or we don't understand the holistic meaning, or we get only a part of it and the other part is never known to us, or we think we have understood but it's really not known to us. Any of this could be Maya. So what does Andal mean by saying Maya? She says Mayanai. So Mayanai Mannu is the way she starts this beautiful pasuram. So Maya here are a lot of deeds which Bhagavan did. So what kind of deeds did Bhagavan do? He is, first of all, he is the Bhagavan, the Lord of the entire Moola Prakriti. He is the Leela Vibhuti Nata itself. So by Manna, it could be the Bhagavan of the Paravasudeva. And Vatamadurai can mean The Vaikunta, it can mean our Vrindavana, our Rajabhumi. So all these words together with the detailed meaning of Mayan, if we contemplate on it, think about it. Now, what all did Bhagavan do in Gokula, in Vrindavana, while he was growing? Later, he gave us, the Kurukshetra, entire Bhagavad Gita, that is also a big Maya. So, when we think of a lot of his Leelas from childhood, Bhagavan lifted this entire Govardhana Parvata as if it was one small lotus, as if we hold a lotus stalk in our hand. Bhagavan lifted this entire Govardhana. And how did he lift it? Usually in pictures, we see that the huge mountain is there. He just lifted it with his finger, right? It is mentioned by Narada Maharishi that Bhagavan took the Parvata, he inverted it, and then lifted it. Because if he lifted it directly, all the plants and the living places, the caves inside the mountain, will not be reachable for people. So it will not serve its purpose, right? So Bhagavan happily lifted the mountain, he inverted it, and then he held it with his little finger. Now, what happens is all the plants and trees were available for the cattle. They could feed on these. Whatever water was flowing was now available, as a source of water for thirst. Also, the dwelling locations could be accessed by people relatively easily so that they started living. Their routine life was taken care of without, no big difference. And they had Krishna with them. So this was the beautiful way Krishna inverted the Govardhanagiri and held it not for an hour or two, but for full 7 days when he was a little child, right? So this was a big Maya. And then how many asuras, starting from Putana to, you know, Asura after Asura was coming and, trying to kill Krishna. But our little Krishna, several Leelas he did and then demolished the Asuras. And each one of it is a day's talk by itself. After that, everybody were afraid of the Kalinga. Now, little Krishna went to the Kalinga. Maybe without knowing, he might have gone there. But then Krishna actually got on top of it and started doing a big dance performance itself. So he danced on top of the most poisonous snake there, which everybody were so scared of. So our little Krishna was a Mayan in so many different dimensions. So Mayanai Mannu, which Leela of Bhagavan can we think of? Which Anubhava is greater than the other Anubhava? How do we contemplate on this Bhagavan, as a Mayan? And the entire Shrishti Karta of the entire Prapancha is also another way of looking at Maya. So in multiple dimensions, we are looking at it. And now, when all these acts are happening, let us visit this Mayan again after we understand a few lines of what Andal tells us. Mayanai Mannu, Vadamadurai Maindan. Vadamadurai, as I said, can mean Sri Vaikuntham. It can mean our Gokulam, our Vrindavan, which is like Vaikuntham. Every time we think about it, we breathe the air, we think of the soil, the place where Bhagavan had done all this Leelas. What a feeling it is. What a bhava, what a anubhava it gives. So he is Vadamadurai Maindan. He is the child of that soil, such a blessed place where Bhagavan decided to spend so many years of his lifetime. Tooya Pirneer Yamunai Turaivanai. Now, after offering her invocation to Bhagavan, who is the Srishtikarta, as Padmanabha, to all his weapons, which is the Shankha, Chakra, Saranga, Ityadi, all the Ayudas of Bhagavan, Andal now speaks about the great Yamuna after speaking about Vrindavana, right? So Yamunai Turaivanai, she says. What is so special about Yamunai? It is the most sacred river, says Goda. Why is it sacred? Because where did our little Krishna do all these leelas? From the time he was born. How was Bhagavan born? Tamadbudham bhalakam mambucheksham chaturbhujam shankhagadayudhayudam. Srimad Bhagavatam says Bhagavan Krishna was an Adbhuta Balaka. He was, a mysterious Balaka, a child who was absolutely different from what we all know. What was so different about this child? He was born like nobody else. How was he born? Chaturbhujam. When Krishna was born, he had 4 arms. Bhagavan was born with 4 arms. Shankha Gada Yudhayudam. He had Shankha, Gada, and everything else on all his arms, even as a newborn baby. He was wearing a yellow color vastra, a baby born with a vastra. He had a shining kuntala. The shine of that was reflecting on his hair, and this entire place, which was dark because he was born in a karagraha, in the jail, right? Where Kansa has put his parents there. So there, that entire place started, showing so much of radiance because of the light from his kuntala. He had his armlet. He had his Udyanam. He also had his Srivatsam, the mark which is created because of Mahalakshmi being there. Every single Lakshana of Bhagavan is mentioned in the sloka of Srimad Bhagavatam on the birth of Bhagavan Krishna. So after that baby was born, because Vasudeva and Devaki requested Bhagavan, please go back to the original form, oh Bhagavan, because Kamsa is looking for you. So please, reduce your 4 hands to 2 hands. Bhagavan instantly obeyed the orders of his parents. He obeyed, and instantly he became a boy with, 2 hands. So the child now looked like any normal child. He instructed Vasudeva and Devaki as to what should exactly be done. Even as a little child, he opened up, the doors of the jail, helped his father move out of the place. And now Vasudeva was carrying Bhagavan on his head. Bhagavan was one little small baby who was lying down on top of Vasudeva's head. Vasudeva was carrying him. And now what happens? We are in the line which says Yamunai Turaivan. Bhagavan is worshipped as a Yamunai Turaivan by Andal. Why was this happening? Now Vasudeva was carrying Bhagavan and he had to reach the other side of the river. He had to leave the child, with Yashoda Mata. When he was crossing Yamuna, it was raining very heavily. Yamuna should actually leave way so that Vasudeva can cross the river. But instead, Yamuna started raising higher and higher and higher. And Vasudeva was actually getting submerged in the water. He was drowning literally because Yamuna was racing. Did Yamuna not cooperate? How was she called as a sacred river if she did not cooperate? Yamuna was an ardent devotee of Bhagavan. Bhagavan is so close to, touching her. All she wanted was one Padasparshan of Bhagavan. She just wanted to touch the feet of Bhagavan so that she would be blessed to eternity. Why are we calling Ganga as a sacred river? In the previous episode, we saw that it was the Trivikrama Sripada Tirtha, right? The water which was used by Brahmadeva to worship Bhagavan when he measured the skies. That water is Ganga Devi, and therefore she is sacred because she is the Sripada Tirtha of Bhagavan. Now Yamuna feels Bhagavan is so close to me, so near to me. I just want to touch his feet. So she keeps raising. But then Vasudeva is having Bhagavan on top of his head. So by the time Yamuna reaches, Vasudeva will actually be drowned. Now, our little Krishna, baby Krishna, has two responsibilities. Soon after he is born, think about it. He has to ensure that his father is safe. He has to protect his father. On the other hand, Yamuna is his devotee. He has to fulfill the wishes of his devotee also. So, what does our Krishna do? The little baby, the newborn baby, now stretches his feet outside of the basket in which Vasudeva is having him and pushes his feet to touch the water of Yamuna. So he's stretching himself to touch Yamuna Nadi. And the moment he touches it, Yamuna is so happy. She feels so blessed. What more do I need in my life? And then she goes low, she moves herself away and gives the path to Vasudeva. Vasudeva is now able to cross the river. And Krishna, this way, protects his father and blesses Yamuna, who is his devotee. So much of responsibility for our baby Krishna the time he is born itself. Mayan, right? He is Mayan. We just can't comprehend what all he would do. Now, this Mayan is called as Yamuna Turaivan for this being one reason where Yamuna also now got the blessing of being Bhagavan's Sripada Tirtha. She has been blessed with the feet of Bhagavan touching her. But Bhagavan loved Yamuna so much that he did so many leelas just in the river banks of Yamuna. All these little children, Gopas, along with Bhagavan Krishna, every Gopa is a Bhagavata. They are devoted to Bhagavan, right? They were always immersed in the thought of Bhagavan. Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. They knew nothing else. We spoke about the Gopikas. Vikretu Kama, Kila Gopa Kanya. All they were thinking is in their chitta, Murari, Murari, Murari. Similarly, these Gopas were always thinking about Krishna. Now, Krishna used to play with them. Krishna used to eat with them. And then Yamuna will be eagerly waiting. Hey, my Krishna is going to come and wash his hands here. But Krishna will not wash his hands. Just like how we use our denim trousers today to wipe off our hands, Krishna will happily wipe off his hands in his clothes. Yamuna will be like, oh my God, did I not have Bhagyam today? I thought Krishna will come near me. And then Krishna will hear the inner voice. Bhavagrahi Janardhana. He understands the emotions of each one of us. So he thinks it is not just a washing of my hand that you deserve, my dear Yamuna. And then he gulps a little bit of water and he washes his mouth with the water after eating food. So the water which is used by Bhagavan to cleanse his mouth has now got the great bhagyam of being Yamuna Tirtha. Even today, when we do the worship of Bhagavan, the Saligrama Murti is placed and we worship Bhagavan. We will have 5 small vessels in which the Aradhana is done, in which we offer our prayers to Bhagavan. And there will be one vessel where we help Bhagavan, brush his teeth and clean his mouth. The water from that is even today called as the Yamuna Tirtha because Bhagavan used Yamuna Tirtha for this purpose. So Bhagavan's water to cleanse his mouth, that is a great thing which Yamuna got. So that was a blessing. So she became really, really pure. Initially itself, when the Padasparsha was got, she became pure. Tuya. Now Bhagavan's gargling water is Yamuna. Perenir, she's so big now. She cannot be compared at all. And then what did Bhagavan do? When the Kalinga Nardana was there, Bhagavan goes there, immerses himself completely, top to bottom, left, right, center. He goes deep into Yamuna, comes out, sings again, dances on top of Kalinga, does every single thing, immersing himself over and over and over again in Yamuna Tirtha. What can we speak about her? She is beyond our words. Her color is also like that of Bhagavan. She is also a Krishna Varniya. She is dark complexioned, like Bhagavan Krishna. So this Yamuna Tirtha, here our Andal gives so many adjectives to address her. She says, Tuya Peruneer Yamunai Turaivanai. So Yamunai itself is sufficient. She could have just told that he is, residing by the banks of Yamuna, or he did Leelas on the banks of Yamuna. She says, Neer Yamunai, the water Yamuna. Why? Because the water wanted, she was a devotee. And then she says, Tuya, Tuya Peruneer. Peruneer, because she was blessed by Bhagavan's Pada, Tuya Peruneer, he became the gargling plus the blessed feet of Bhagavan touched her. So Peruneer, Tuya Peruneer. Now, why is she so huge? Because that Periya, that ultimate, the huge Mahato Mahiya Bhagavan immersed himself in Yamuna, right? So she has now become such a Peruneer, and we can't think of anything which is purer than her now. Therefore, Andal uses all these adjectives. Tuya, Peruneer, Yamunai, Turaivanai. So much of adjectives for our Yamuna. What to speak about her? Now to the next line. Ayar kulathinil thondrum anivilakkai. So here, Andal says, Ayar. Ayar basically means the people in the Vrajabhumi, right? The Gopas, the Gopikas, everybody who are there. And Andal has now transformed herself into a lady belonging to the Ayar Kula, because she wanted to be with them, be where they are. She wanted to be a devotee like the Gopikas. So she transformed herself. We spoke about this in the previous episode, where the entire Srivilliputur, her location, she now transferred mentally into the Ayar Padi, the Gokula. She transformed her father to be the Nandagopa. Her god, Vatapatra Sai, in the temple was now Krishna. Everybody else there became the devotees, the Gopas, Gopikas, took up different characters that was required there. So she is now identifying herself as, the cowherd person. So she says that, hey, Bhagavan, you were also born as a cowherd. I'm also a cowherd, right? So Ayar, she says, you were born in the, cowherd clan, Ayar. Kulathinil. So you were born in that kula of Ayar. Thondrum. So instead of using the word born, she is using the word appeared. We should remember that Bhagavan is a avatara. So when we say Bhagavan is born, it gives a wrong message to a lot of people. In fact, Bhagavan clarifies this in his Bhagavad Gita also, where Arjuna is asking, you are telling that you spoke all these great meanings to Surya Bhagavan, but you are born after Surya Bhagavan. Surya Bhagavan was born like, such a long time back. So when you say that you thought all this to Surya Bhagavan, hey Krishna, how do I understand this? So for this, Bhagavan gives the answer, right? So what Arjuna was asking is, Aparam bhavato janma param janma vivasvataha katametadvijaniyam tvamadau proktavaniti. How do I understand this, O Krishna? Having been born later, how could you have told all this to Suryan? Now Bhagavan says, Bahuni me vyathithani janmani tava charjuna. There are so many births which I have taken. So have you, Arjuna. But then, Tanyaham Veda Sarvani, Natvam Veda Parantapa. I remember every single thing, but you do not. Why is that? Because Ajopi san avyayatma bhutanam ishwaropi san. So Bhagavan says, Ajaha api san. This is extremely important for us to understand this particular song of Andal. Aja means the one who is not born. So when Arjuna had this confusion, you are born now. How could you have thought earlier? Bhagavan's response is, Ajo Pisan, though I have not been born, I am born again and again. So the unborn is born, he is manifesting himself. Bhagavan has no birth per se. So when we say he is born, it causes a lot of confusion to people thinking that even Bhagavan is born like us. We start equating him to us. Therefore, having said he was born, Bhagavan had to give a clarity that no, 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 actually I am unborn, right? Now, Andal does not want to give any such confusions. So, what is she saying here? She says, Ayar Kulatil Thondrum. So, you appeared in the Ayar Kula. You were not born. Oh God, Bhagavan, you are not born. I am not going to confuse anybody by saying that you were born. You appeared in the Ayar Kula. So, Ayar Kulatil Thondrum. Ani Vilakkai. Vilakku means light. So light is usually, the brightness, the tejas. Ani vilakkai. So ani vilakkai is basically the kind of light which can remove the andhakara for us, which can remove all the ignorance that we have for us. So Andal says that he appeared in the Vrajabhumi to throw away all the ignorance of everybody. Ani vilakkai. Now, what happens when Bhagavan comes there as Vilakku? From one lamp, we light other lamps, right? Now, from Bhagavan, everybody starts getting a lot of Bhagavad quality. I said Yamuna got the color black because of Bhagavan. Similarly, everybody in that bhumi get so much of learnings, inspiration, just like how a magnet keeps rubbing with a iron, the iron also starts getting some qualities of the magnet. The flower, when tied to a rope, the rope also starts getting the fragrance of the flower. So also, when these devotees are constantly in touch with Bhagavan, some of Bhagavan's qualities start rubbing on them, right? Now, this entire Rajabhumi, because Bhagavan is this Ani Vilakku, the strong lamp which is there, the entire Jnana Swarupa, people there also get the jnana. Everybody in the Vrajabhumi are now immersed in Bhagavad Bhakti that they start reverberating with so much of jnana, bhakti, vairagya, everything, and they become lamps by themselves. So now what happens? This Ani Vilakku becomes like the Avali, like the Deepavali. Every lamp is there. The entire Rajabhumi is now like the Deepa Prakasha, entire knowledge, array of lamps that is visible in the bhakti of all the devotees in the Vrajabhumi. And now, what did Bhagavan want to do? Thayai kudal vilakkam seida Dhamodharane. Now, Bhagavan, in all these lights that was there, everybody is now filled with so much of knowledge, so much of devotion to Bhagavan. Everybody there is a Bhagavata. Now here, Thayai Kudal Vilakam, he wanted to explain his mother to all these great devotees because she is such a person who was, you know, taken as a mother by Bhagavan. What kind of a tapasvi she should have been? Yashoda Mata. So the kind of bhakti, love, affection that she had to Bhagavan cannot be compared or understood at all, that Bhagavan wanted to showcase her to everybody. So, Thaye Kudal Vilakkam Seida Dhamodharane. So, he wanted to explain this Thai. this mother of his. And this, many of our acharyas explain it as the Gayatri mantra's explanation. The inner meaning is supposed to be the Nama Bharga of the Gayatri mantra. The explanation of this is supposed to be the mother, the Gayatri mantra's explanation. So, Thayai Kudal Vilakkam Seida Dhamodaranai. So, how did he explain the greatness of his mother? That is the Leela of Damodara. Dhamodarane. This Leela of Bhagavan is explained in Srimad Bhagavata, which our Andal Kodai is beautifully brought in this appropriate context for us to dwell, visualize, immerse ourselves into. Now, this little Krishna does a lot of taunts. He likes to play around. In the Paramapada, all the seers, the Nityas, Muktas, everybody worship him. And they want to see this little mandahasa, the small smile in the face of Bhagavan. And they would do anything in order to see that mandahasa, the little smile of Bhagavan. That Bhagavan has now taken this avatara of Krishna. And what does he do here? He does things which are like a Mayan, which nobody can understand. People there are not able to accept, that these things could happen. Bhagavan could do these things. And people here don't even know what Bhagavan is like there. So nobody gets this complete picture of Bhagavan. So what happens here is Bhagavan wants to get certain names which he does not get in Paramapada. He wants to get the name that he is a thief. He can never be a thief because everything is his. It is all his, right? He is the creator. He is the Srishtikarta. So he can never be a thief. But he wants to get the name of being a thief. He wants to be afraid of his parents. But he does not have parents. Ajopi son, he says, I'm not born. So what do we understand? Now he wants to be scolded. He wants to be disciplined by his parents. What can Bhagavan do in all this context? So in Krishna Avatara, he ensured that I am going to do a lot of these things which will give so much of happiness to every devotee of mine. So he starts to grab a lot of butter, grab a lot of very, very interesting things which these gopikas make. It is, of course, not stealing. Everything is his property. But then he paints a picture that he stole, and people used to chase him behind. Why are you stealing this? Why are you stealing this? As if their anger was not enough. If he consumes at least, they might be happy. He would distribute it happily to everybody around. And he will not even leave a little bit behind for those who've created to consume. He would break the pots. Now, when all these gopikas come and complain to Yashoda Mata, your son did this, you have to control, you have to discipline him, so on and so forth, Mother Yashoda would never believe. She would say, my little Krishna, he has a lot of all these things in our own house. And I allow him to go out only after he's eaten. So why would he go and steal in somebody's place? All of you are just jealous. Don't bring all these wrong things to me. So Mother Yashoda would not, pay heed to anything what these people say. Krishna was very disappointed. He's been working very hard to get these names. So he decided that I am going to do it in such a way that Ma Yashoda will not have an option. She has to believe that I am a thief. So what does our little Krishna do? He always likes people to focus on him without distraction. If anybody thinks something else is more important than our little Krishna, he gets very irritated. He does not like it. Now, what he does is, Mata Yashoda is feeding baby Krishna. All of a sudden, she realizes that the milk is there in her kitchen and it would overflow anytime. So she leaves little Krishna here just for a few minutes, and she wants to go inside and switch off the milk. Krishna can't take this. Now Yashoda's focus is moving away from him. So he thought this is the right time for him to show who he actually is, that he is a thief. Now, what he does, he eats all the butter that was there, puts it everywhere in his face. He breaks all the pots that is there. The butter is now scattered everywhere in the living room. The buttermilk is overflowing everywhere. He stamps everything. Before Mata Yashoda could come out, he runs away. He runs there, looks around, goes into another place where a lot of these pots filled with butter are tied up. And there is a small, um, stool kind of a thing which is there. He now wants to reach this butter. Now, what does he do? He tries to change, the direction of it. He climbs there. He tries to take some butter from there. He eats a little bit. And now Krishna has a lot of friends, right? So all these friends start coming there. And who are these friends? The monkeys. Monkeys want to have their share of all what Krishna takes. So Krishna happily distributes all these butter, everything that he gets from the pots there to the monkeys. Now monkeys are eating there, Krishna is eating there, and he is now sitting on top of the Ural there. And then there comes Yashoda Mata. Krishna is scared. He does not know how to be scared. So he's calling the deity who's in charge of fear to show his face. I will try to replicate how you look. I want to look afraid. So when he saw that deity, he tried to look, as if he was afraid. So his face now showed a lot of fear. He wanted to cry. His kajal is now mixed with his butter in the face, with some teardrops coming from his eyes, that his whole black face is now looking very, very different, with white in between, black in between, some teardrops in between, his cheeks becoming red because of fear. Look at the beauty of our little Dhamodara. Such bewitching beauty. He is like so splendid that Mother Yashoda wants to come, wants to scold him, want to beat him. She has a stick on her hand. She is just admiring him. Oh, Krishna, don't cry. I'm not going to beat you. And now she wanted to discipline him. What can she do? She now knows that he has stolen the butter. So she decides to tie him to that mortar itself. When she wants to tie him, she takes a rope. Bhagavan decides to play a little bit. Now that he's got his first wish satisfied, he has now become a thief. His title is granted. He is very, very happy. So he's in a nice mood. He's playing with his mother. Mother Yashoda says, I'm going to tie you. And then she starts to tie him. And when he is tying, the rope, which looked long, was insufficient. It was insufficient by a gap of 2 fingers, 2 inches possibly. Now Mata thinks, how is that possible? I thought I took a long rope. Never mind. So she takes another rope, adds it to the existing rope, ensuring that this is long enough, ties it again. This time, the rope is again short by 2 inches, 2 finger gap. Mata Yashoda is surprised. By then, all the gopikas from nearby come there. They are admiring what is happening here. Why is Krishna looking like this? His cheek is with butter and his kajal, it's like black and white together. He's so red in color because of fear. Why would you want him to cry, oh Yashoda? He is so beautiful. And they start laughing at what is happening. Yashoda is now tying the third rope. She tries to tie it to Krishna, and guess what? Yes, it is again short by a two-finger gap. How many ever ropes she takes again and again and again, it is always short by two fingers. Now, what can Yashoda possibly do? She says, oh Krishna, I wanted to tie a rope, but looks like you don't want to be tied by your mother. That's why this rope does not want to get tied to you. Unless you want it, I'm not going to be able to do it. Now, immediately, Bhagavan, who's a Bhakta Vatsala, he decides she's such a devotee. She's a Bhakta of mine. She's my loving Amma, mother. So I have this great opportunity to showcase my mother's greatness to this entire world. So what Bhagavan does is shrinks himself. We spoke of Bhagavan in the third Pasuram, third song, where just by one stroke he measured all the worlds above him. By the second stroke, he measured all the worlds below him. There was absolutely no place. That third step he had to place on top of Bali Chakravarti's head, which was just a acceptance because there was no other option for Bali Chakravarti. He was magnanimous in accepting it, right? Now, here, that great Bhagavan, who is immeasurable, reduces himself so small that the first rope, which was insufficient, was now sufficient for Mata Yashoda to tie Bhagavan very, very comfortably. So she ties Krishna, and Krishna is now smiling. He's very happy that his Amma could tie him up. Now, Dhama means the rope, Udara means his belly, his stomach. Damam udare yasya saha damodaraha. The one who sported this rope on his waist is called as Damodara. And our Bhagavan loves this name of his. Anytime people address him as Damodara, 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 he is so happy because it is his Bhakta Vatsalya Swarupa that he accepts even punishments from his devotees. He loved being punished by his mother, Yashoda. That was one of his wish, right? He had nobody to punish him. He had nobody to discipline him. So that wish of Bhagavan was satisfied because Mata Yashoda tied him to a mortar. So this mortar is so blessed. And Bhagavan got a mole in his hip because of this tying, it seems. This thin rope which was tied on his waist created a mole in the waist of Bhagavan. That mole, even today, he is proudly showcasing in so many temples. So when you get an opportunity to have a Vishwarupa Darshana of Bhagavan, and they call him as Damodara, they will show you, in the close up that this is the mole which Bhagavan had when he took his Krishna Avatara, when he was disciplined by Mata Yashoda. So he was Damodara, you can see that mole in his Dama. In his Udara, you can see the mole created by the Dhama. That is the Dhamodara Leela of Bhagavan. Now here, our Andal brings this beautiful phrase, Tuya Peranir Yamunai, that great Bhagavan who purified this Yamuna, not just to be a water, not just to be a pure water, not just to be filled with all virtues. She is above everything we can think that she is Tuya Peranir Yamunai, where he himself resided, Turaivan. Ayar Kulatil Tondrum Anivilakku. So he brightened up everybody with Jnana Bhakti Vairagya. Tayai Kudal Vilakkam Seda. He brought greatness to his mother, who was such a great bhakta devotee. How? By making himself be punished by her by being Damodara, where he was tied to a mortar by his mother, and he didn't shy away. He showcased it. He proudly demonstrated, look, everybody, I am Damodara, I am Damodara. He did not say that, I am Sarvaloka Maheshwara to everybody. He didn't say that I am the Lord of the entire universe. He proudly said, I am being punished by my mother for having stolen butter. Therefore, I am Damodara. What do we speak about our Bhagavan? So, in this Pasuram, when Andal starts by saying, Mayanai Mannu, which is the greatest of all the mysterious deeds which Bhagavan did, measuring all the three worlds, is that mysterious? Being the Lord of all the cosmos, is that mysterious? All these are his basic nature. Those we can understand. What is one thing which we can't understand is how is that Bhagavan becoming such a obedient Bhakta Vatsalya Bhagavan by allowing himself to be punished by devotees. This Damodara Leela is the Maya. That is the ultimate Maya, which we just can't understand. Why would Bhagavan do this? Why would he want to be tied? Why is he still demonstrating all this? Even today, if we go to Sri Ranga temple, Bhagavan is supposed to have that mole in his waist. And people will cover it, because if Gopika sees, they will, Bhagavan might feel shy, they will cover it up. So in the Vishwarupa, some very, very few devotees get the bhagyam of worshipping that beautiful Dhamodara. So going further, Tuyomai Vandom. So Andal says, let us all come with absolute purity. Tuyomai Vandom. So, what is purity here? Andal is inviting everybody to come for the Niratam or the showering, right? She wants everybody to come and, go immerse themselves with a shower in the Yamuna Tira, right? Now, only the shower is going to cleanse us. Why is Andal saying all of you should come very clean? What does Andal here actually mean? So, what is that cleanliness? Remember, we spoke about the Mano Vak Kayam, the second sloka in which Andal said, what are the do's and what are the don'ts for the vrata, right? So she's telling everybody, do adhere to the vrata niyamas that I mentioned. So you should be pure. You should, not do the things which we are not supposed to do. You should do the things which we are supposed to do. வாயினால் பாடி மனதினால் சிந்தித்து தூமலர் துவித்தொழுது. Let's sing his praises. Let's contemplate on him. So let's do the actions pertaining to whatever is right. Let's not, go into gossips. Let's not do any Bhagavata apachara. All these she said, let's surrender to Bhagavan Narayana. So all these she's very clearly says. So all these will give us purity of thought, words and action. So tuyomai vandum, come with all these purity. So she's not speaking about, having a bath before coming. She is speaking about the purity of the chitta. Tuyomai vandum. When we go to Bhagavan, it should never be a trading. Today people say, oh Bhagavan, give me an apartment, give me all prosperity, give me children who are healthy, give me friends who can do anything for me. Give me all the knowledge that's required in the world. And what will I do? I will break a coconut in your temple. This kind of trading is not done with Bhagavan. We cannot offer him something and expect something in return. Bhagavan, I will deposit so much of money for you. Be a partner. Give me so much of business so that you can also earn your part. Bhagavan has this entire vibhuti as his creation. He has all what we don't even know. Tripadasya Mukham Divi, like his properties are unequal. We can't even, think of bargaining something with Bhagavan. He has nothing. Trishulokesha Kinchana, he has nothing that he needs. So trading will never work with Bhagavan. What kind of trading will work? It is only trading him with our bhakti. Bhagavan, I give you my bhakti. And what do I want in return? I want you, O Bhagavan. Tannayam tanda karpagame, we say. Like he will give himself if we do not ask him for any other thing. So when Duryodhana and Arjuna went to Krishna, Duryodhana asked for an army. Arjuna said, Krishna, I need you. Krishna gave himself to Arjuna, right? So that kind of a devotion, we give him our bhakti, which is nischala. So it should be pure bhakti without trading for any of the material things that is required for us. Then what Bhagavan will do? He will give himself. When he gives himself, obviously the material things are there. Did Arjuna not get his kingdom? Arjuna got it, but that was not the purpose of Arjuna. His purpose was Krishna. So when we think of Krishna, Tuyomai Vandum. We will not ask for anything else, oh Krishna, we want you. So that purity of mind is what we need to go with. Toomalar, with தொழுது. So what we have to do, Andal tells in very, very clear terms as to what we have to do. We have to offer flowers on his feet. Toomalar with தொழுது. Offering flowers. This Toomalar is a very, very important thing where there are a lot of classifications of flowers. The flowers are categorized into what are satvika flowers, what are, the uttama flowers, what are the madhyama flowers, and what are the adama flowers. So the Shuddha Pushpanjali will basically be about, having our own garden, the Nandavanam, in which even while offering the water, we think about Bhagavan, even while plucking it, we recite his names. And, this was done by all the alvars, acharyas, who used to do this as one great service. Andal's father, Periyalvar, used to do this. We had many other alvars, Tondaradi Podiyalvar, all of them used to have their own beautiful garden. In Alvar's garden is where Tulasi Mada was there, and that's where our Goda herself, took her birth. So that is a very, very superior way where the Tulasis from our own garden are taken and are offered to Bhagavan. So this is considered as a Uttama Pushpa. The Madhyama Pushpa is basically, somewhere it is grown in a common place and we collect it or pay for it or something and then offer it to Bhagavan. And the Adama Pushpa, which can also be offered if we do not have an option, but it is by asking others, taking flowers or requesting others to give the flowers and offering that flower to Bhagavan. So this kind of a categorization is there. Bhagavan is very, very happy when we do a samarpana of Tulasi Pushpa, which is very, very dear to Bhagavan. So Andal refers to Tumala Tuvi is like the Pushpanjali, the Archana of Tulasi, which can be done here. Along with Vayinal Padi, keep offering Nama Sankirtanas to Bhagavan. Keep thinking of his gunas, Manadinal Sindika. So contemplate on all his gunas, offer all the Nama Sankirtanas you can, and then, give him all these beautiful flowers. So these three things together, Bhagavan will be very, very happy. In this context, I would like to introduce a very, very important thing, which is about the Vishnu's Priyatama Pushpa. This Pushpa is something which Bhagavan loves a lot. 8 beautiful flowers which can be offered. Now think about it. We do not have a huge garden. Therefore, it's difficult for us to create flowers. We can, of course, still have a small pot of tulasi, pluck at least 2 leaves of tulasi and offer it to Bhagavan with the appropriate prayers. But then Bhagavan and Andal always give us alternatives, right? So there is a pushpa which can be considered even greater than these pushpas. And what is that pushpa? Ahimsa prathamam pushpam pushpamindriya nigraha sarvabhutadaya pushpam क्षमा पुष्पं विशेषतः ज्ञानं पुष्पं तपः पुष्पं शान्तिः पुष्पं तथैव च सत्यम् अष्टविधं पुष्पं विष्णो प्रीतिकरं भवेत्. These 8 pushpas give so much of happiness to Bhagavan. What are these pushpas? The first flower, the first pushpa we can offer at the feet of Bhagavan. We can think of all these flowers as our gunas, our Atma gunas, the qualities which we have to enhance in ourselves. So, whenever we develop each of this quality in us more and more and more and offer it at the feet of Bhagavan, Bhagavan is absolutely pleased. He is so happy that you are enhancing your Atma Guna. This is exactly what I want, and blesses us to enhance it even further. So, to purify ourselves, we have to start attempting to purify, and then Bhagavan supports us. With his support, we can purify us even more. So, these 8 flowers can be looked at our effort towards Atma Shuddhi. The flowers which are our gunas, which help us to become purified and offer ourselves at the feet of Bhagavan. These are the samskaras which help us to purify ourselves and offer ourselves. So the first one is ahimsa pratamam pushpam. Ahimsa. Ahimsa is not just killing things. It is about not creating pain by mano, vak, kayam. Our words, our thoughts, and our deeds should not hurt anybody. So we should not do himsa with either of these 3 things. And that guna we have to keep enhancing in ourselves. So, no, I did not hit him. I did not, kill anything. That is not sufficient. Even by words, we should be very, very conscious to ensure that our words do not hurt anybody. So, ahimsa pratamam pushpam, we have to first focus on ensuring that by our words, thoughts, and deeds, we do not hurt anyone. Pushpam indriya nigraham, the second important flower which we can offer to Bhagavan is indriya nigraha, which is controlling our sense organs. Our sense organs distract us from focusing on Bhagavan. Why has Bhagavan given us all these sense organs? He has given us eyes. Eyes are meant to have the darshan of Bhagavan. So we have to see him. Kannara kande, our eyes are meant only to keep seeing him. Khadara ketu, our ears are meant to listen to his nama, to his leelas, to his charitra. What else is our hearing capacity for? With our words, we are supposed to sing Harinama Sankirtana. We have to keep praising Bhagavan. So, Nama Sankirtanam, other than that, what is our words for? So, every single Indriya of ours has been created to be of service to Bhagavan. But what are we doing? Instead of using it to the service of Bhagavan, how many times we misuse or rather abuse it by applying it to something else. So, not using it for the right purpose means it is abuse. So, the second pushpa that we have to offer is Indriya Nigraha, controlling all our Indriyas, aligning our Indriyas towards Bhagavad Chintran, the Ekagra Chintana of Bhagavan. All our Indriyas should, be pulled together. The reins of the horses, like how Bhagavan holds it in his hand, all these should be held together. Bhagavan Rishikesha, who is the controller of senses, should help us do this. And our mind should focus just on Bhagavan using all what he has gifted us. The third is Sarva Bhuta Daya Pushpam. Sarva Bhuta Daya is to all the creatures, we have to have daya. Today, what happens is we think the world is only for humans to live. Anything, everything around is for human consumption. We are in a consumeristic world today where we can abuse. We don't worry about what's going to happen to the generations to come. As long as we are happy today, it is sufficient. We have this common phrase, we have one life, let's live it. Come what may, be happy. But what is the consequence of all this? We forget that there are other things which also have a life to live. They have a right to survive. So here, this Pushpa should give us the thought of Sarvabhuta Daya Pushpam. Let us be really filled with Daya to everything around. Let us help everything survive. Let us have a lot of trees, even if there are ants. Earlier, we used to have a practice of putting the Rangoli, the Rangavalli or Kolam, in front of the houses. The reason for that was all the ants which are searching for food will get attracted to it because the rangoli was done with pure rice flour, and these ants would eat the rice flour. People would never stamp on the rice flour. So what would happen? The ants will be protected because they are on top of the rice, and we will never stamp the column. The house looked really nice with such beautiful decorations in front of the house. And they also, of course, used it to codify if this house is auspicious, Mangalakara things are going on. They had a bigger Rangavalli. If something was not a Shubha, suppose something has happened in the house or they are mourning for some reason, then there will not be a Rangavalli when people will know that, we should not go to invite them for auspicious times at that point of time. It was something like a ISO standard. Based on these, we could understand. And this beautiful kola ensured that the ants survived. Sarvabhuta Daya. This is one example, feeding the crows. So many things we used to do, taking care of the goats, the goshalas. So many things we used to do. We never used to have the milk without feeding the calf up front. Now, this is considered as another pushpa, Sarvabhuta Daya Pushpam. Kshama. Kshama is forgiving, it is patience, all these beautiful attributes. Eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. So, whenever a few are at fault and we want the situation to go well, and everyone we know is doing the right things, we absolutely lose nothing to say that, the fault is mine, accept it, forget the rest, and keep going on. This is a great quality of Kshama, which gives everybody peace of mind. Jnanam. This is a very, very important pushpa where swadhyaya is important. We have to gain the right knowledge. We have to learn our granthas. We have to offer our namaskaras to our acharyas and gain all what they can give us. Andal in this previous pasura said, right? Our acharyas are like this unending knowledge givers, and she's requesting them not to hold on anything to themselves, but then give it to us, right? So we have to gain all that knowledge. In addition to that, we should take our own efforts to learn. Wherever there is an opportunity to learn, we have to equip ourselves with the right knowledge because there is unending amount of knowledge that is available, and this is going to help uplift ourselves, uplift people around us, and this knowledge transfer will also help the generations to come, which is our duty. So jnanam is another flower. Tapaha. Tapaha is the sixth flower. So earlier, our ancestors used to perform the yajnas, the yagas, the tapas. All these were the austerities. Today, we are not able to do that. So what are we supposed to do? Wherever possible, they can still do these tapas. But then Bhagavan Krishna in Bhagavad Gita tells us so many varieties of tapas. He speaks about tapas which are even by the pranayama. Even our own breathing can be considered as a tapa if it is done the right way. The food that we eat can be done the right way. Bhagavan says the words that we utter can be a Vangmaya tapa. He gives us so many varieties of how we should lead our life as a tapasya jivana. Anything which we do to perfection is a form of divinity and can be offered as a pushpa to Bhagavan. Anything which we do wholeheartedly as a seva to Bhagavan is a pushparpanam to Bhagavan. So, living our life with this kind of austerity of thoughts, words, and deeds is a tapasya jivana which Bhagavan is really pleased with. Shanti is the seventh flower. Shanti is the serenity, the peace, the fulfillment. All of us are in the samsara sagara where it's a rat race. We are always, trying to meet the ends. We are always struggling for even the basics. When we were earning much lesser and had lesser needs, we were still fighting. Today, we earn a lot more. We are in a bigger location. We have a bigger family. Everything is there. We still seem to be fighting for whatever is required. We are always stressed, pressured for one reason or the other. When are we going to have peace of mind? Bhagavan says that only the person who has given up his desires will be able to achieve it, and not the one who tries to fulfill every desire. Sashanti mapnoti na kama kami, says Krishna. So, kama kami, the one who keeps fulfilling every desire, can never have shanti. So, we have to aspire for shanti as yet another pushpa, which means we have to overcome our desires for material fulfillments. And the final one is Satyam Pushpam. Now, what is Satyam Pushpam? Satya means truths. So, abiding by the truth, which can be the greater truth, Bhagavan is Satya Swarupa. So, understanding Bhagavan, he is the ultimate dharma, he is the ultimate Satya. So, abiding by his words will elevate us to following Satya in the different aspects of our life, for maintaining the truth in all aspects of our life. So, these are the 8 beautiful flowers which we have to cultivate in ourselves and offer it as pushpa to Bhagavan. अहिंसा प्रथमं पुष्पम् पुष्पमिन्द्रियनिग्रहः सर्वभूतदया पुष्पम् क्षमा पुष्पं विशेषतः ज्ञानं पुष्पं तपः पुष्पं शान्तिः पुष्पं तथैव च सत्यम् अष्टविधं पुष्पम् Vishnu Preetikaram Bhavet. So these will please Bhagavan Vishnu. So what does our Andal say here? She says, Tuyomai Vandanam, Tu Malar, Tu. Let us offer all the flowers, the great sattvic flowers with utmost purity in the feet of Bhagavan. At the feet of Bhagavan, let us offer ourselves, right? Manova Kaya, we'll offer all these beautiful flowers. Vainal Padi, Manadinal Sindit. So let us sing his praise with our mouth. Let us, think about Bhagavan, his qualities, his Kalyana Gunas all the time. And what will be the result of all this? Poya Pirayum Puhudaruvan Nindranavum, Deenal Tusagum Seppu. All the sins which we accumulated will be burnt. How will it be burnt? The Upanishad Vakya is used by Andal here. All of us know that uh, Tirupavai, which Andal has given us, is the seed of Vedas. It has the essence of the Vedas in it. So, Andal, in many places, would have used the Vakyas of Upanishad itself. So, here she says, whatever sins we've accumulated will be burnt to ashes, just as how, heaps of the fuel can be burnt just by a spark of fire. So, this is also mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam again. So, how much ever sins you've accumulated, we don't have to fear. Hey, God, the amount of sin that I have done can never be wiped off so easily. How is it even possible? It's not one or two sins. I've accumulated mountains of sins. Andal says, don't worry. போய பிழையும் போதருவான் நின்றனவும். How much ever be the sins that you accumulated, just as how a spark is enough to burn the entire heap of cotton, all your sins will be wiped off. What should you do? You should do basically the three things that I've mentioned. வாயினால் பாடி மனதினால் சிந்தித்து தூமலர் தூவி தொழுது. So you have to offer the flowers. You have to think about Bhagavan. You have to do his Nama Sankirtana. Why is Andal telling this so confidently? Because this is what she learnt directly from Bhagavan during the Varaha Avatara. During the Varaha Avatara, she's asking Bhagavan, tell me the simplest way how my children can reach you, oh Bhagavan. You have given the Vedas, the Puranas, everything, but they are little children. What if they are not able to, meet the standards that you've set? Tell a Lagu Upaya, tell the simple way how they can achieve whatever they need. And then Bhagavan says the entire Varaha Purana, and these key things Bhuma Devi notes down. And in this avatar, the 5-year-old kid in the very fifth sloka tells us very directly, in no uncertain terms, do these three things, remember it, okay? And she underlines it, Arial bold 72, and tells us, Vainal Padi, Manadinal Sindit, Tumal Tuvi Turd. Do these three things, and all your accumulated sins will be wiped off. And what is that? It is the Sanchita Karma, which we've done for several ages. Even that will be wiped off. Don't even worry about it. And Prarambha, which is not started to accrue now, which is kept for your future, those also you don't have to worry. So she says that your past and the future are also taken care of. So don't worry at all. So there will be no obstruction. We will be able to do this vrata. Teenil, Tusagum, all your negatives will be gone. Sepelor embavai. So what you have to do is, just keep remembering this, keep repeating Bhagavan Nama, keep repeating Namasmarana, do whatever I have asked you to do, and that will ensure that, you are in the right path. So such is the beautiful pasuram of Mayanai Mannu, which Andal has given us. Jai Shri Krishna. Vasudevji, would you like?
Jai Shri Krishna. What a great depth into this 8-lined Pasuram, Tiruppavi, the simple Tamil words sung by Little Andal. Yes, our Acharyas have very strongly recommended that Andal's these 30 verses are the essence of the entire Upanishads. It is the Vedasara, and it encompasses all the essences of, it encapsulates the Dharma Shastras, the Vedasaras, the Vaidika Marga that we are all belong to and are always advised to follow in however best possible ways. And the Leela Vibhuti that Pravinaji so beautifully elaborated is Damodara Leela. Of so many Leelas, Damodara Leela, the approachability of Lord. He playing with demons is a different Leela. He is Mayan. The first word is all itself Mayan. And Pravinaji uncovered every word and so many hidden messages behind every word in every line. I'm sure time is a great limitation for Pravinaji, and one life is a great limitation to even understand this one Pasuram of 8 line. Thank you, Pravinaji, for this very, very, very enlightening and very insightful message that you gave to all of us, shared to all of us. Yes, I'm sure you have been the mouth of Andal, the mouth of Goda today for so many of us, because language is one level of ajnana for us. The, then understanding the words is another level of ajnana for us. Then what is behind them is absolutely an unapproachable level. But thanks to all the Acharya Paramparas and Guru Paramparas who have brought this great knowledge, great full force of light to all of us and given us such manis, such Vaishnava manis, such Jnana manis, Bhakta Shiro manis, like Pravinaji here. Thank you, Pravinaji. We shall definitely remember the 8 pushpas each day whenever we are offering to our Bhagavan. We shall definitely remember these messages of Andal that you uncovered to us whenever we are offering a bhoga, a bhogya to our Lord. We will definitely remember to observe and obey whenever we are offering a bath, a very cool bath to our Lord, and giving him a garment, tying his waist shall be tender and with his permission, and not by our intention or our pleasure or our desire at all. It is all by his intentions. It is all for his pleasure. It is all for his Kainkarya Seva. As he has given us this entitlement, opportunity, and the greatest of privilege to even know him, touch him, access him, offer services to him, remember him, start the day with him, and end the day with him. And even in our sleep, we shall only remember him. All by him, all with him, all for him. Mayan Manivannan. Mayanai Man. ஆழிமழை கண்ணா
ஆழிமழை கண்ணா
ஒன்று நீ
ஒன்று நீ
கை கரவேல்
கை கரவேல்
ஆழியுள் புக்கு
ஆழியுள் புக்கு
முகர்ந்து கொடார்த்தேரி
முகந்து கொடாத்தேரி
ஊழி முதல்வன்
ஊழி முதல்வன்
உருவம் போல் மெய் கருத்து
உருவம் போல் மெய் கருத்து
பாழியன் தோளுடை
பாழியன் தோளுடை
பற்பநாபன் கையில்
பற்பநாபன் கையில்
ஆழிபோல் மின்னி
ஆழி போல் மின்னி
வலம்புரி போல் நின்றதிர்ந்து வலம்புரி போல் கிருஷ்ண கிருஷ்ண வலம்புரி போல்
வலம்புரி போல்
நின்றதிர்ந்து
நின்றதிருந்து
தாழாதே
தாழாதே
சார்கம்
ஷார்கம்
உதைத்த
உதைத்த
சரமழை
ஷரமழை
போல்
போல்
வாழ
வாழ
உலகினில்
உலகினில்
பெய்திடாய்
பெய்திடாய்
நாங்களும்
நாங்களும்
மார்கழி
மார்கழி
நீராட
நீராட
மகிழ்ந்தேலோ
மகிழ்ந்தோ
எம்பாவாய்
எம்பாவாய்.
This was yesterday's Pasuram and today's
Thank you,
Pasuram.
Vasanna.
Oh, very
Like
brilliant,
it.
very brilliant, very brilliant. Dhanyawada, Bhagini, Sumitra ji.
ధన్యవాదాలు Vasanna.
Pravina
I'm very
ji.
blessed. I'm very
Narayana,
blessed.
Narayana, Narayana, Narayana. You may proceed with following the next Pasuram. That is today's Pasuram.
Yes, Anna.
Aali.
ஆளி.
It is Mayanai.
மாயனை
மன்னு
Ha,
மாயனை மன்னு
மாயனை மன்னு
மாயனை மன்னு
வடமதுரை
வடமதுரை
மைந்தனை
மைந்தனை
தூய
தூய
பெருநீர்
பெருநீர்
யமுனை
யமுனை
துறைவனை
தூரைவனை
ஆயர்
ஆயர்
குலத்தினில்
குலத்தினில்
தோன்றும்
தோன்றும்
அணிவிளக்கை
ஆணி விளக்கை
தாயை
தாயை
குடல் விளக்கம்
உடல் விளக்கம்
செய்த
செய்த
தாமோதரனை
தாமோதரனை
தூயோமாய்
தூயோமாய்
வந்து நாம்
வந்து நாம்
தூமலர்
தூமலர்
தூவித் தொழுது
தூவித் தொழுது
வாயினால்
வாயினால்
பாடி
பாடி
மனத்தினால்
மனத்தினால்
சிந்திக்க
சிந்திக்க
போய
போய
பிழையும்
பிழையும்
புகுதருவான்
புகுதருவான்
நின்றனவும்
நின்றனவும்
தீயினில்
தீயினில்
தூசாகும்
தூசாகும்
செப்பேலோர்
செப்பேலோர்
எம்பாவாய்.
எம்பாவாய்.
ஆண்டாள் திருவடிகளே சரணம்.
ஆண்டாள் திருவடிகளே சரணம்.
Andal Tiruvadigalai Sharanam. Pravina ji, with your permission, I will offer the Vali Tirunamam. Vali Tirunamam. Vali Tirunamam is the utterance or the names and singing glories and thanksgiving and glorifying the Lord. Here we are celebrating Andal, who is our Acharya, who has shown us the Sanmarga, who is constantly guiding us in a very simplest and the easiest path to Paramapada, Mokshananda, Bhakti Marga. திருவாடிப்பூரத்து ஜகத்துதித்தாள் வாழியே, திருப்பாவை முப்பதும் செப்பினாள் வாழியே, பெரியாழ்வார் பெத்தெடுத்த பெண் பிள்ளை வாழியே, பெரும்பூதூர் மாமுனிக்கு பின்னானாள் வாழியே, 143 உரைத்தாள் வாழியே, உயரரங்கர்க்கே கன்னி உகந்தளித்தாள் வாழியே, மறுவாரும் திருவல்லி வலநாடி வாழியே, வண்புதுவை நகர்கோதை மலர்பதங்கள் வாழியே, வண்புதுவை நகர்கோதை மலர்பதங்கள் வாழியே, சதமகமணி நீல चारु कल्हार हस्ता, स्तनभरनमितांगी, सान्द्र वात्सल्य सिंधु, அழகவினிகிதாமி ஸ்ரக்பிரா கிருஷ்ணநாத விலசது ஹ்ருதி கோத விலசது ஹ்ருதி கோத विष्णुचित्तात्मजान् विलसतु हृदि गोदा विष्णुचित्तात्मजानः ஆண்டாள் திருவடிகளே சரணம். ஆழ்வார்கள் திருவடிகளே சரணம்.
திருவடிகளே சரணம். ஆழ்வார்கள் திருவடிகளே சரணம்.
எம்பெருமானார் திருவடிகளே சரணம்.